Hello and welcome to the Gameskinny Roundtable. We are recording tonight, Wednesday, September the 11th, 2013. We do this every week, although our numbers have shrunk down a little. We still have the four of us. First on the chopping block is Ernesto. Say hi.
Hi.
We have Louie.
What's up, guys?
Who's here. And we also have Ryan, who is not being a ninja, but he is coming in just to help us out. We are technologically incompetent. Yeah. We couldn't do it without you. Anyways, today we are going to be discussing the transition between movies and video games. After all, there are two basic entities that we know of, which are video game tie-ins with movies that are released concurrently, and video game movies, which are usually terrible, and are released as movies long after the franchise is an established success. Can you think of some of them?
Which ones?
Which ones, yeah.
Well, let's start with the first one. Like, some of them are video game tie-ins with movies. There's been quite a few of those.
Yeah, oh yeah. Any superhero movie, Spider-Man is the greatest offender right now. You can think of like dozen Spider-Man games that just happen to be released with a dozen of movies that have been made for Spider-Man.
Including the most recent one?
Yep, you have one.
Oh, really? I didn't know that one.
There's one saving grace to superhero movies that did not meet the requisite of having a video game tie-in, and that would be the Batman movies. The Dark Knight Rises trilogy, or the Dark Knight trilogy, did not have any movie tie-ins. Now, they did have the Arkham series come out around the same time, but they did not have anything to do with each other. So, thank God for that.
Just as well. Yeah, they've been great all on their own.
Agreed.
Movies and, well, I don't know about that last one, but
It's just, let me see, Iron Man. Iron Man's also a pretty bad offender. I guess Marvel kind of milks it a little bit more than DC does, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, but they're mostly...
Oh, God, you remember it? That was a horrible movie, and they made it worse by having a horrible video game tie-in for that, too, I believe.
Which one was it?
Catwoman, the Halle Berry one?
Oh my God.
I actually saw that, I've seen that game.
I did too! Half the theater left and walked over to watch, like, the Bourne trilogy.
Yeah. It was a terrible movie, and it says a lot that the game was worse than the movie. I mean,
yeah.
that was
an impressive movie.
I have noticed that Marvel does exploit their superhero movies a lot more than DC, because I think Man of Steel had like an iOS game that wasn't that great, but I mean a lot of the mobile platforms are getting kind of, let's call them casual game tie-ins. Iron Man has been terrible about it. They've had a video game tie-in on an iOS or Android device since the beginning of the Iron Man movies, and now they have, just recently, they released the Jarvis app, so they have apps too.
I'm actually quite excited about the Jarvis app.
It's already out.
I haven't seen it. Is it just for iOS? I only heard about it last time.
I believe it's for iOS right now, but I'm pretty sure it'll come to Android. And basically, it's Siri that has to run in the background. So, you know.
So yeah.
But they recorded hours of all new voice stuff. So it's not just a shitty little soundboard. It's they actually put some effort into it.
I wonder if Paul Bettany actually did the voice though.
I remember reading. I thought he did.
That'd be really interesting if they do that. I mean,
But that's one of the reasons why I was so excited. I was just like, oh, they're actually putting actual effort into this. I could get behind this.
Yeah, actual effort, something that usually doesn't exist in the video game tie-ins movies.
Right.
No.
Right? Good games.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings came out with some. Return of the King.
Yeah, Return of the King was great.
Yeah, they've Lord of the Rings has actually. I mean, there were video games, even Lego video game tie-ins with the movies, which as alone they're not too bad of games. It was kind of refreshing to see that even though that they were producing movies at a very quick pace, that the games weren't almost copy and paste from the previous iteration of it.
And the great thing about the Lord of the Ring games, and even a couple of the Harry Potter games, was that they took from the movie a little bit, especially Return of the King, which is the one I remember as being good. But they took a lot of the lore from the actual literature, from the book itself, which helped out making the video game, because Lord of the Rings had a movie tie-in game, but they also had Battle for Middle-earth, which is really I enjoyed it. I think it was an RTS. I guess that's what you would categorize it as.
Yeah, it was.
And then the Harry Potter games, though not excellent, were not that bad. And they actually put a lot of the stuff that was left out from the books into the games itself.
Which is good, because the movies kind of were always a little lackluster in places, especially when they had to condense everything. How about the Golden Compass? Did you ever play that? I never actually got to.
I never even saw the movie, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't really want to play games that might turn out to be bad, especially when I had to buy them for my console, and I was not rich ever. So
well, that's a perfect example of companies just kind of sucking money out of people, because the Golden Compass was already going to be a movie that not many people were going to watch. But why not make a video game too? You know?
Because they know their audience.
I guess.
Yeah, it was aimed at. I guess the movie was aimed at kids, kind of. I can't remember. All I remember about that movie is polar bears and Daniel Craig. So.
And Nicole Kidman.
Nicole Kidman was pretty good for that. When I first heard about, when I first read the book, I thought Nicole Kidman would make an amazing Mrs. Coulter, and she did.
I just don't know why she still looks like she's in her early 30s. That lady's old.
Because she's magical. She's magical and has no expression, so maybe that's why.
If you say so. Botox.
Yeah, right? I'm just like,
Some people are
reasons. And reasons.
But,
Yes,
expressive
I'm walking
people.
around.
did you guys bring up the Lego movie
Alright, so what
games?
else? What do
The
you
what?
got?
Not the Lego ones.
The Lego movie games, those were good.
That's
Like,
true.
Star Wars, I didn't play the Harry Potter ones, but my nephews did, and they said they were really good.
Yeah, but those are just like I wouldn't call them actually video game, like based on the movies. It's more based on the universe, I guess.
But I think that's a good thing to bring up, because, it's nice to find actual good quality, video games out of, movie content, which we don't see very often.
Yeah, those are, I think, like a rarity for those
Mm.
games.
They're
I was
fun.
so excited for Buffy, but I never got to play any of them.
Well, and the weird thing is, like, even movies that, even older movies that have had plenty of time to produce a quality game, fail. I mean, I know we didn't mention this earlier, but Colonial Marines.
Oh,
What a huge flop! And how long ago was freaking Aliens made? The last Aliens movie?
30 years.
Yeah. So they had 30 years to make something decent, and they just nope.
Yeah, but, in the meantime, they've made also not decent stuff, like Alien vs. Predator.
Hey,
I actually like that movie.
I like them too, but they were not on par with the others. I was hoping for a grander scale, and it was just it's the same.
I like the Predators movie they made with what's the guy
Brody?
from the Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody.
That was actually
Oh.
a pretty good movie.
That was
I
pretty
enjoyed
good.
Yeah.
Me. Me. All right.
He's also quite handsome in his own way. But I have ghosts wandering in my background.
But
I saw that.
let's
Walking.
let's add TV shows too, because I mean TV shows are just as big a culprit as movies. You got. I mean, the first example that comes to mind, and I'm sure it's on everybody's mind, is Survival Instinct. Was the most recent TV show tie-in game, which was it corresponded with season 4 of The Walking Dead. Terrible game overall, in my opinion. But the one that was based on the comic, which was the Telltale game, was amazing. And the one that they took based off the TV show was a disaster.
Same could be said with Game of Thrones. They did one too, and it was also
That's right.
I think one of the major reasons that video game tie-ins to movies or TV show fails is because often smaller studios are given this task with very little time to create tests and to spend time to give a good product. They have to release it by a certain date that coincides with whenever the show is being released or the movie's being released, and it's like non-negotiable. If they miss that date, then they're royally screwed. So they will often give us a very shoddy game because they're pressed for time, and it's unfortunate. Maybe if they had the same amount of time that another studio would to create any other game, maybe they'd give it that.
I don't know. I have the opinion that it's crunch for time, certainly, but it's also that they don't care enough to give you anything quality out of it. I think it's because it's based off of something established, like a big franchise. You're either going to go see that shitty movie and complain about it, because the internet loves to do that, or they'll come up with a shitty video game because the movie is so strong. You might buy the video game, or like parents will be duped into buying this video game because people like the movie so much.
Well, and major companies are also trying to capitalize on the on the fanfare. So Walking Dead's a huge success. They found out Walking Dead was a huge success. Let's make a video game because we can suck some more money out of these people. I'm really surprised there's no Twilight video game, honestly. I'm waiting for that to show up.
Do they play video games?
Tweens? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm trying
Dogs?
to think of mechanics.
Maybe you should make an iOS game.
Yeah.
Tap X to resist her flesh or whatever. I hadn't read or watched.
Tap go to sparkle even more brightly in the sun.
Plays Jacob and try to
fall in love with someone else.
Keep your pocket rocket. The dog thing. Everybody knows what I'm talking about if you have a dog. If you don't, I don't care. It's gross, whatever.
So I think, I guess, on the flip side is that a lot of movies have been made based off video games that haven't fared well at all. I mean,
there's been a long history of those.
Long sordid history.
Long sordid history.
There's one director, Uwe Boll, Uwe Boll. He is the greatest offender out of all this. I mean, if you want to point to a bad video game movie that's been made within, I guess, the past 10 years, he's probably the perpetrator.
Let's go through Uwe Boll's shitty movies. Let's see. We got Far Cry.
Yes.
Postal. Blood Rain, which I think is the biggest one that somebody would know.
Yeah, Blood Rain.
Oh God.
Which actually had a sequel, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
Wow.
And Yeah.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head, and I hope he never makes another one again.
Because I think he's admitted in a few interviews he didn't care about the source material. So he just kind of made his own movie. He wasn't a good director in the beginning, so he took what could have been, somewhat decent and just ruined it by being bad at his job.
Yeah.
But there are also tons of other movies. I know one of the first ones was the Super Mario Brothers one. Although it had no relation, it had relation to the Mario series in probably name alone, because if you didn't know anything about Mario and watched that, you would never be able to put two and two together. I enjoyed it personally, though. Yeah.
I liked it.
I remember going to see that at the movie theater when I was like 8 or something, and it was amazing. Even though the only relation that it had to the movie was that there was Mario, Luigi, and Koopa.
And they were plumbers.
And they were plumbers. And then they got the shoes so they could jump.
And they put their bullet bills in the shoes. It was a mess of the Mario series, but it was so bad it was good as a movie.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, for video game movies, that's really the best you can hope for, is for it to be so bad that it's good. Because other.
I don't know. That's not always true. I mean, first off,
I kind of thought that of Doom.
Okay, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is good in everything, but Doom was not that great of a movie.
No, it was not.
It was really freaking weird how they went to like first person for the shooting scenes.
I thought that was kind of cute, though.
I thought that
it was a weird transition, but it was cute.
Yeah.
There's another video game movie it's an Uwe Boll movie too, that seriously raped the series, and I don't know if you guys remember this, but House of the Dead.
Oh.
Where there wasn't actually a house?
Well, no, they actually plugged in scenes from the video game in lieu of actual cuts of like zombies coming at them. They would just throw in scenes from the video game.
What?
Like, that's how shoddy and how little this man cared about that game or that movie. So he was just trying to make a quick buck.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. What are some also? Max Payne. Max Payne was one of the more recent ones.
Mm-hmm.
Starring my man Marky Mark, but it literally had like nothing to do with any of the previous Max Payne series. I mean, it was very stylized, very different, but it wasn't anything like Max Payne. He did slow motion like once in the movie.
He was brooding his wife was dead, and that was it.
Yeah.
Also had to do with the movie.
There were some.
Then you had what else? Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li.
Well, even the original one was pretty shit.
With Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes.
Let me
Don't
see.
even.
She was a pianist instead of like a cop in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Instead of being badass.
Oh, and she wasn't even Chinese.
Yep. Well, yeah, kind of.
The actress she's like Canadian or something.
Kristen Crook. She was
Christina, yeah.
That's Kristen.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the chick from Smallville.
So yeah, I don't know.
So it went from a kung fu expert Interpol agent beating up a psychically empowered crime lord, and to a classical pianist versus an Irish estate agent.
Sounds like a good movie, hey?
Sounds like a great movie.
Classic.
Let's go in this cave and dance naked with our friends.
Woo!
It's just a shame that like when people are given the task of making these movies, they don't take it seriously.
And the time, they're given the time too, because I mean, Street Fighter is such a long franchise. I mean,
And they have, framework to build on. They're just like, yeah, no, we'll just make something up instead.
Yeah, but it's still current even to today, because I mean, everybody remembers Street Fighter. They could have taken their sweet time making a quality Street Fighter movie, and they ruined it twice. There was an old Mortal Kombat movie too that was really good, the original Mortal Kombat movie with the weird techno music. Good fighting movie. I mean, what was the Highlander was in it? He was Raiden, but I forget his name. Christopher Lambert, whatever.
That sounds familiar.
God, I'm getting old. Okay, the original Highlander was Raiden in it. It was a lot of no names, but they made a quality movie out of that franchise. The sequel and further on were garbage, but the first one was actually pretty good.
I think the biggest sin that video game movies commit that make them bad of themselves, no matter how well filmed they are, is that they are bad once they pervert the source material or abandon it completely. I guess a big perpetrator of this would be the Resident Evil movies, which...
Well, I wouldn't say they abandoned it completely.
Well,
no, they didn't.
Well, I would say when they did do it, when they just made the first, because the first one had pretty much nothing to do with the series.
It had nothing to do with the series.
Exactly. So when they actually completely abandoned it and just did their own thing, that actually turned out rather well.
Yeah, but then they
World War Z had turned out that well, I wouldn't have minded that movie so much.
I think Louis and me are about to be on the same page. So go ahead, Louis, because you were about to say.
Take it.
Okay, so the original Resident Evil movie took inspiration from the Resident Evil series. In other words, the premise or the setting was in the mansion, to which they evolved it into the Hive. Alice was not a character in the Resident Evil series. It was well done. It was well scripted. And then as they progressed through the movies, they started trying to implement characters from the Resident Evil video game series, to the point where it made absolutely no sense for them to be in there. So you had Jill Valentine came in her cut-off blue halter top out of nowhere, and Claire Redfield was played by I don't know, the chick from Heroes, and she had amnesia in one of them, and she was some kind of apocalypse survivor, and she had nothing to do with it. And all of a sudden, Chris Redfield is a prisoner in some random place where she has to land a plane on a rooftop. It made no sense. And that's what Louis, I think, is talking about when he's talking about perverting the source material to the point where it ruins the movie itself.
Or abandoning it. I know it's kind of a fluke when you mentioned the first two Resident Evil. Was Stephanie was trying to say, but some movies they just basically like the Street Fighter one that we just mentioned, where it completely abandons the core elements. It's like, oh, and Bison, he's a super powered trying to rule the world, and Chun-Li's an Interpol agent trying to stop it, and then suddenly she becomes a concert pianist trying to stop a real estate agent. There's nothing similar in the movies, and that's the biggest sin in that movie.
And she didn't have the legs she needed for that.
She didn't have the legs. She doesn't have any of the body. Yeah, to be fair, nobody has the legs.
All right, so how about some movies that actually were good, that took the reference material from the video game and actually expanded on it and made them quality movies?
I would, for me personally, Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill was fantastic. It was scary, it was creepy, it was unnerving.
Oh, Pyramid Head was amazing.
Yes. And I watched the behind the scenes of it, how they created some of the monsters, and you could tell there was actually time and efforts and put into these creatures. They were so disgusting and disfigured and horrible, and the director and all the people working on it actually cared about it, and they wanted they wanted the monsters to look believable and good.
And then they made the second one.
Yeah, which went back to...
And what happened? They took the video game material and they just freaking raped it. Pretty much.
Yep.
Halo Forward Unto Dawn. It was kind of a mini-series that was released recently, and it was actually really good. It was well acted. They put money and time into it, and it was also super... It was super loyal to the source material. It didn't deviate in any way, shape, or form. It called on all the multitudes of tomes that are written about the Halo expanded universe, and it used them and applied them, and it was a great show.
I've noticed that fan-made films are actually doing a lot better now too. So you had the Mortal Kombat Legacy series, which I think I might have been the only one to have seen it. Was really good. They tried to put like a realistic spin on why the Mortal Kombat characters would be who they are, and then they started going into the fantasy part of it. So like why Scorpion has a skull head and all that stuff towards the end of the first season, because they're actually doing a season 2, and they're considering making it a feature film. Forward Unto Dawn is an excellent example of taking source material, because what they were doing, what was that? It was a prequel to Halo 4.
Actually, no.
It was a prequel to something, wasn't it?
I think it was a prequel to the first Halo.
I can't remember.
It was because, yeah, I'd have to explain it all, but yeah, it is.
I'm pretty well. It was made to wet people's whistles right before Halo 4, pretty much. And it was excellent. I thought it was a great way to show off how a full-length film should be made in a short film medium. And you know, you've had Zelda-inspired short films, fan videos, and then they tried to do the Kickstarter for the Final Fantasy one that failed, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When fans get their hands on it, if they have passion enough to be creating these projects, you bet your ass they're going to be loyal to the source material. I
don't know. They did like a Resident Evil fan film for like Ada Rising, and that was terrible. Mostly because Yaya Han cannot act.
Assassin's Creed did one too. They've been doing prequel short films. I think they started with, it was one of the Ezio films. They started doing it. I believe it was Brotherhood. They started doing short films right prior to the release of their video games. I think the only one that didn't get it was 3. Assassin's Creed 3 didn't get it. But with that said, they're already considering making Assassin's Creed a feature film anyway, which kind of brings us to the last topic that we were going to talk about, which is norm, which is video games are actually inspiring movies now, and not the other way around.
Yeah, and it's kind of looking now. They're trying to make these movies better, because we've gone through this terrible period, and people have seen just wasted potential. So now they're going to put a little bit more time and effort into it, especially with big names such as Spielberg getting behind the Halo projects that they're filming. People are understanding that there's money to be made in this medium, and they don't want to waste this opportunity, which I know I'm kind of repeating myself. But it's important for producers and directors to kind of jump on board now.
Well, and the great thing is, with the evolution of where video games are now, with such high fidelity graphics compared to back when, you know, it was like 8-bit, 16-bit, all that stuff. Now it looks actually pretty realistic. Not 100%, but you know what I'm getting at. So you have that inspiration, and not just that, you're getting directors, producers, and writers of films becoming fans of the series. So in other words, originally I think Peter Jackson was the one that wanted to do a Halo series, and that fell through because he was going through the whole Hobbit stuff, or he was going through the whole Hobbit stuff at the time. And Steven Spielberg kind of took the reins with the release of the Xbox One. Steven Spielberg's going to be producing and directing the first episode of that Halo TV show that Louis was talking about. You have Gears of War that's been talked about for it. You've had, what other movies have been?
World of Warcraft.
Right, World of Warcraft has got a trailer during E3 for the actual film.
You know what? You actually you brought something up that we haven't really talked about before. Writers, Ken Levine, the guy that made BioShock. He started out as a screenplay writer for movies, and he eventually transitioned into video games. The guys that wrote Spec Off the Line. I don't know if you guys played that, but it was just a great story. And those are the people that they started out trying to make movies, so they took their visions when they couldn't really get it translated into film well, and they took their visions and they put it into video games. And now when people are understanding that video games are to be taken seriously, that they can be used as a medium for art, then they're getting another chance to bring these stories and these video games to the big screen. I know Ken is now working on the Ender's Game screenplay, or Ender's.
No, you're right, Ender's Game.
Yeah, Ender's Game screenplay. So he's getting back into it, and he can easily bring the BioShock franchise onto the big screen, and he knows how to do it well. He knows the care that it would take to put that story into film, and not just shoddily put some CGI effects and call it a day, which people have been trying to do with video games since they started being made.
Yeah, and stories are becoming so involved and emotionally investing. I mean, you've had games like the BioShock series, you've had The Last of Us that's come out recently. Yeah. Heavy Rain is a good example of it. The Uncharted series, which would make an excellent action-adventure film, kind of like in the lieu of, or in the inspiration of an Indiana Jones film. And then you have Beyond Two Souls coming out soon, which already has big-name actors in it. You have Ellen Page and William Dafoe in that video game, and it's actually supposed to play out like a film.
Yeah, it's becoming a new format for art now, and I'm kind of a big proponent of it. Even though we have so many games with just super violence or super sexualized women, there's still those gems that shine through that show you that great stories can be shown in video games. Great stories are just there. We just have to kind of get out of the fanboy.
Yeah, I think
man baby.
That's the thing. It's just if Hollywood keeps seeing the video game industry, and the people who play them as just horny man children who like guns and big boobs, they're going to keep making shitty films about stuff that doesn't actually make sense. If we keep coming up with good quality video games that actually do have story, that actually do have good quality writing behind them, maybe the the movie industry around video games will change too.
And I think
that's something to hope for.
I think Hollywood's starting to see that, right? I mean, they're already announcing an Assassin's Creed game, even though Black Flag hasn't even come out. Right? They're calling Watch Dogs is already being announced to have a movie coming out. What's the name of that game that the Xbox One's making that has a half TV show component to it?
Quantum
Break.
Quantum Break.
Quantum Break.
So I think Hollywood's already starting to see the potential in the stories that come out of video games, and now with the way special effects are, these video games that wouldn't have been possible, in the past, are possible now with mocap and CGI and all this other stuff. it's possible to make these video games an actual reality and put real big name actors into a film with a storyline based off of a video game.
Mm-hmm. And if we can make Tomb Raider into a human being, I think the movie industry could follow suit.
Let's just put Megan Fox in there. We'll be all right.
I'll miss the old
She's April O'Neil already.
Oh my God!
So.
Don't even fucking remind me. Turtles for life.
So guys, if you had to choose, what would be your favorite video game movie?
Don't start with me because I gotta think.
Oh, okay. For me, it would be the Mario and Luigi one. I mean, it's a guilty pleasure, is what it is. It's it has barely anything to do with the video game, but it's just so damn entertaining. It is.
Okay. What was your question? What video game we would make into a movie, or what movie that we already like?
Yeah. What video game movie do you like?
What video game movie do I like? Oh, I'm gonna embarrass myself. How about you, Ryan? What do you think?
Oh, I see how it is. I agree with Louis. The Mario one is a guilty pleasure, even though I haven't seen it in forever. But I can't believe that we didn't mention, like, the whole Turtles franchise. The video games are good, except for the recent ones. I think there was
I did
one
like
good
the
recent
video
one.
games.
Yeah, the
The
first
old
one
one.
was extremely hard, but that was so fun. Turtles in
It's just
Time.
sad.
Turtles in Time, I love that game. But the Turtles
that's-
movies, those were pretty cool. I liked them.
I
Back when I was
actually
a kid.
really like that, like, short-lived TV show as well, where they stuck in Venus de Milo, and then one of the creators was just like, let's just wipe that from existence.
Yeah.
They
I remember.
they did a video game spin-off, didn't they? They did the Turtles in Time.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
But they did a full motion Turtles in Time.
What do you mean?
Like Turtles
They
in
did.
Time was an arcade game.
Yeah, and then they had
Originally.
it on Super Nintendo and stuff, and then they came
Right.
out with a revamped version, and they redid it.
Right, but after the video game came out, somebody actually made a full feature film with like a real life film of Turtles in Time.
Or are you just talking about like number 3 or whatever it was?
Well, yeah, number 3. So part 1 was the original, and then it was The Secret of the Ooze. I can't believe I remember all this
Yep,
shit.
Secret of the
Yeah, I
Ooze.
was gonna say Secret of the Ooze.
Yep.
And then the third one was Turtles in Time, where they went back to Japan.
Yeah, but the movie, the Turtles in Time movie, didn't have anything to do with the video game. It was completely different. Different
okay.
story. Yeah. But
So that's your
but
favorite?
either way, they were still really good. Yeah. As for favorite, I guess, yeah, between that and the Mario games, Mario things. There was also a Mario TV show. We didn't even talk about that, but anyway.
Super Mario Super Show with Captain Lou Albana, and I said that earlier. And
Oh,
nobody
okay. Yeah, it was awesome.
Didn't happen.
But anyway, how about you, Ernesto?
Oh, Jesus. All right. I'll knock out 3, and 2 of them aren't video game movies. I don't think. Well, one of them definitely didn't have a video game tie-in, but it was actually sponsored by Nintendo. So, number 1, the original Resident Evil movie, the one that had nothing to do with the video games, was excellent. They slowly destroyed themselves as they went along. I think the last movie is about to come out, and that's the end of the Resident Evil series. A very current movie that has a lot of cool fan love for video games. Wreck-It Ralph.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
Excellent movie. I really enjoyed seeing like Hubert like being homeless over there, and then you had like M. Bison in the AA meeting for villains and stuff like that. I really enjoyed seeing that. The last movie that I'm going to mention, and if you've never seen it, even you guys, please go pick it up and watch it. It's called The Wizard. If
Yeah,
you've never
I knew
seen
you were gonna say The Wizard.
Well, I forget the kid's name from the Wonder Years.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Ben Savage.
Ben Savage. Ben Savage taking like his autistic brother to a video game competition in Las Vegas. Antics along the way, and then that was the first time that Nintendo introduced Super Mario Brothers 3 before the release of the game.
Yep, and it was at the tournament.
One of the best game-inspired movies I've ever seen.
Yep.
Who's left?
Steph.
Steph. Oh God.
That's you.
Yep.
Shocking. Okay, let's see. I really liked Silent Hill movie. I thought that was a really good movie on its own and as a tie-in. It was great. I really liked Hitman. Not a lot of people did for some strange, horrible reason, but I seriously love that movie. And it made me so happy to see like a guy voluntarily cock-block himself. It was amazing. It's just like, oh no, please be gentle with me. It's my first time. No. Sleep now. But I also really liked Advent Children because I'm doing it.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that really
Advent
made me
Children.
so happy. Oh.
I remember when I saw that. That was pretty cool.
Yes, I have that giant Advent Pieces box for like $400
Oh.
because it was beautiful, and I got an extra action figure out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I really
that's
liked.
me.
I really just liked the action. Advent Children was really good. I just I did not like. For me, I didn't understand anything that went on during the movie, but it was really cool. Everyone fighting and all the music and
Yeah. And then they went back and redid it for Blu-ray, and it was beautiful.
Oh, I need to see that one. I just remember seeing it, and like the story didn't have much story, but it was beautiful. That's all that mattered.
Yeah, it was definitely Final Fantasy porn, but
yeah,
still good.
Yeah.
I think we also were thinking real quick, if you guys want to do it, what video game would make a good movie? You guys want to do that? You think you can do it?
I'll
That's
do
gonna be
it.
tough. There's so many good games.
Yeah, there's so many good choices. There's so many good games. For me, I know it's right now. It's kind of what I've been playing all the time, but Payday 2 would definitely make a good movie because it's already takes a lot of inspiration from the movie Heat, which Heat was an alright movie, but the only thing that people remember.
Heat was amazing.
But all people remember of it is that 10-minute bank heist scene. That's all really people remember of the movie. It was a good movie, though. It was a fantastic movie.
Pacino, De Niro, Kilmer, all those people just together.
Exactly. It was a great movie, but when people think of it, it's like, oh, that was that bank movie where they robbed the bank, and that's only like 10 minutes in the whole movie.
Yeah.
So, right, if they made like just devoted to the kind of like realistic, like they're going at it, they're all hiding behind the cars, they're running, they're trying to escape from police, that would make a fantastic movie. That would make like what's his name, Michael Bay wet himself. That would be my choice.
Okay.
How about you,
Who else?
Ernesto?
Who, me? Damn it. Okay, so minus the hooker killing and the ultra violence, I think that a GTA franchise movie would actually do very well. If they take inspiration from, not inspiration, don't use the story, but take inspiration from the storylines that they've been using for GTA 4 and the upcoming GTA 5, which I hear has an excellent storyline. If they continue that storyline and use quality writers to make a GTA movie, I think it would do very well.
What would separate that movie from just any kind of generic crime movie, in your opinion?
Or the Chappelle Show.
Or the Chappelle Show?
The Dave Chappelle Show. Didn't he did like a
that weird
a
GTA
spoof? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if I'm watching a movie, I don't want to see like a heads-up display showing how many hookers I've killed and stuff like that. So that's what Chappelle did. I think that the necessary components for a good GTA movie is definitely going to be the writing staff. They really need to take it and push it outside of just a generic GTA video game tie-in movie. I mean, from what I'm hearing, and from what I've seen online and read in the articles, GTA 5 is a very involved story that takes place with 3 separate characters, and you see all their reasons for being part of whatever crimes conglomerate that they've decided to join up to start this business. And I think with the right time invested into using the GTA name, it would make a lot of money, and it would probably make a good quality film. But no, it would probably just be a shoot 'em up bank heist movie, just like yours.
How
about you, Ryan?
What would you think if it was done right?
Me, I have no idea.
You can't think of any game that would make a good movie?
Wasn't there rumors about Metal Gear movie or something?
Yeah, there were. Which, you know,
So.
I know a lot of people criticized the last one, which was, they just said last one was basically a Metal Gear movie.
Yeah, basically a movie, yeah.
With a few little gameplay in it. I didn't get to play it, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
But yeah, Metal Gear would make a fantastic movie. There's a lot of rich backstory to call upon, a lot of characters.
Revolver Ocelot. That's who I'd want to see.
And now Rip Fishnets.
But
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna make
What's her name?
quality movie.
What's her name? What's that chick's name? Quiet.
Quiet.
Yeah, you quiet down, you dirty, dirty girl.
Oh, Louis, did you see the picture I sent you?
Yes, last week we mentioned Quiet, and he sent me a link that had Snake in the same outfit, in a bikini and a thong. Yeah.
That was quite amazing.
I think for the Metal Gear movie. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Stupid Google.
No, I was making a joke.
No. Well, make a joke then.
Do it.
It got me hot and bothered because that's just a hot outfit, no matter who it's on. Guys.
That's gross.
You're so bad right now.
So Metal Gear movie. I think that would be a really good idea too. I agree with you. As long as they don't start going towards the Kojima confusion, which is like, once it started getting into 4, and it's like, I don't know what's going on with these mechs. All of a sudden, they're getting these weird legs that make no sense to me. If they use the premise of we are becoming too dependent on technology to fight our wars, and that's why they're making mechs and stuff like that, and they're abusing war to turn it more into a business, and they roll with that, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think
But
it would be too.
if they throw Quiet in there, then I'm probably not going to watch it.
Louis will be all on that.
Oh, they might change her outfit a bit more. They'll lose the tights or something.
But how about you, Steph?
How about me? I have 2. Again, I can never choose one. I think.
Jingly,
The
jingly.
first one, yeah. 3 or 4. First one is actually Dead Space. I think that would
That's a good one.
that franchise could actually make a really good movie like Silent Hill. It would be scary as shit, and it would be pretty cool to see. The second one, I really do want to see how Hollywood could take a new revision of Tomb Raider. They tried a little bit. Angelina Jolie ones to like make her more of a human being, but less so, because I think with this new reboot, I think that could make a pretty good film.
Angelina Jolie's already not a human being, so.
She
How dare you?
she is just absurdly beautiful in an inhuman kind of way in a lot of her films. I
And
find.
likes adopting things. So anyway.
She's a good person, but
Sure,
in
you
her
say so.
in her films, I just finished watching The Tourist, and she does that a lot. She does that
She adopts
larger than
things?
life.
Oh.
She does that larger than life. I am so beautiful it hurts. Now worship me, because
Nobody remembers that she made out with her brother.
Hey,
That
you
happened-
know what?
yeah,
You
she was really crazy at one point.
Yeah.
know what? I don't judge. Beautiful people can do whatever they want. Just
Another
because I happen to be
This
one of
from
those.
Louis.
another
doesn't-
Louisism to end the
Another
the podcast.
Louisism. Yep. It's okay to make out with your sister as long as you're beautiful. Who's watching Game of Thrones?
Things I do for love.
I think
Alright.
that's it for now. Thanks
That's
for
it.
joining us.
All right, so let's do a couple of plugs before we go. Hey, everybody, check out Gameskinny.com. Make sure that you read our articles. I don't care if you read anybody else's. You got Louis, you got Ernesto, you got Steph, and you got Ryan. Go ahead and look us up on Gameskinny. Check out our podcast. Don't forget to check out the new subcast when we air it. And for the 4 people that are watching right now, for the love of God, go ahead and tell your friends to watch too.
We love you.
I don't
know
love
there's
you.
those of
I
you
don't
who
love you.
still love us.
I don't love you.
There
because
were once upon a time.
I don't know you. So, but I do appreciate you watching.
Thank you. Bye.
He's the lovable one. Really is.
Okay, can I go?
Bye.